Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and I am here with top producer Michele Town. What's up, Michele?
Hi, everybody. Great to see you.
Good. Well, Michele, your interview last year was awesome. Thank you so much for all the value you bring to the Insane Productivity Group within Mortgage Coach. And thanks for making time to deliver value to everyone. So you had a big year last year. We just finished Q1 of 2017. If you wouldn't mind just starting with what kind of volume did you do last year and how is it going this year so far for you?
Sure thing. Last year, with the help of my team, I was extremely fortunate in being able to fund $105 million and I think 243 units. So it was my biggest year so far, and I'm very thankful to everybody who helped to get me there. Quarter one, a little bit different. Really focused. Last year, I would say we were probably 60-40, 60% purchase, 40% refinance. This first quarter, with the increase in rates, we're seeing a good shift, which I like to see. We're 80% purchase, 20% refinances, and we're right now, quarter one, we closed at 26 million with 51 units. So, and that is me and my production. My team is actually doing a little bit more. I have one other person on my team, and our team last year did 120 million with about 262 units. And this year, quarter one, the team right now, we're at 28 million with about probably 55 units. So that's pretty good for quarter one and a down quarter.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And so in terms of your model, is it still the same where you're getting online leads, primarily Zillow, long form leads, and you have a system and a process for working those, and then if you've got realtor partners, and part of that lead source is to have, bring more value to your agents. Is that still your model?
Yes, I'm very, as my coach likes to say, I'm very intentional with my delivery of what I do for the realtors and what I do for Zillows. The Zillow leads are a little bit different. We handle them with a little bit more texting campaigns and email campaigns, whereas the realtors, it's more of a touch, feel, try to meet with them, and a lot of phone calls with them. We're shifting our Zillow a little bit more, trying to get a little bit more personal. Saying, the millennials are a little bit of a challenge for me because I am a little bit more old school. So I'm learning to use the technology that I have and not letting the technology run me. I think that's my biggest challenge right now, is not having too much technology.
Right. And so, everyone who's watching this is a mortgage coach, or they're part of our greater community at Mortgage Coach. And, when I did my interview last year, we talked a lot about how you're using the total cost analysis. That's a technology you're using all the time. And also specifically the rep versus own. So I would love to talk a little bit about what you're doing to convert Zillow leads. When are you getting the rep versus own to them? How are you using Mortgage Coach to improve your conversion rates? And let's kind of focus on the online / Zillow long form lead, because I think if people can pick up your best practices there, they can bring those to any buyer lead. I mean, a lead from an agent is even easier to convert. So why don't you just describe how you use a Mortgage Coach and the rep versus own within that process?
Love it. And I love what you just said. I actually used what I learned with Zillow and applied it, a portion of it, to my realtor and customer referrals. And it's really, I'm just, again, the word I'm going to use is intentional. I'm more intentional with when I follow up with people, when I send out a Mortgage Coach. I will tell you, last year, I probably didn't do as many Mortgage Coaches as I should till the last half of the year. And my conversion ratios in the last half of the year were much better with the Mortgage Coach presentation. For us, it brings a little bit more value to us, a little bit more credibility to us than, let's just say, if you were using Rocket Mortgage. I need to get people away from Rocket Mortgage. For me, I want them to come back and realize that we're a coach, we're their partner in this, not a computer that just spits out an approval. With the Zillow long form, I've been fortunate enough to be working Zillow long for a little over 2 years now. I'm one of their top conversion on Zillow's because I've again made a lot of mistakes and made a lot of changes on it. I would say the number one thing when a Zillow loan comes in, I'll run you through the life of the lead prior to going to contract. Zillow lead comes in, I have a CRM form our CRM that I use, which is Big Purple Dot. That CRM sends out an immediate email and an immediate text asking them for an appointment time. We typically touch a person 6 times within the first 3 to 4 days, and that was either via phone, email, or text. At that point, I just finished up, and I'll send this to you, Dave. We just finished our revised rent versus own, which is going to be generic. And we send that out to clients saying, if you think that you're not paying a mortgage, think again. And that's my tagline on the email that goes out, because either they're paying their mortgage or they're paying their landlord's mortgage. It's period. There's no gray area in that.
Right.
They like to see that. That rent versus own, that screen, which is, I believe, on the left-hand side, the second bottom one, which tells you how much you're going to pay in 5 years. I've actually shortened it down to 3 years because I wanted to show them, hey, take a look at 3 years, because that's more feasible. What happens in 3 years, and look at how much rent you paid. Look at what you have left over afterwards, and you have nothing, and you have no equity, no anything. They love that. My realtors love it. They use it for their social media posts. I would suggest everybody, if you have a chance, to do a rent versus own, and blast that out to your realtors and say, hey, I'll make one custom for you that they can send out to their database, because for these millennials, they want to save money, and they want to live at home for a little bit longer. But what they don't realize is right now, by waiting, in my rent versus own, I use a current today. I use a what it's going to look like in 6 months and what it's going to look like in a year. Because when I interview them, I ask them, what is your number one hesitation for not wanting to move forward? And most of the time it is because they think if they save more down payment, they're going to have a lower mortgage payment. And when you show them by waiting what they've done, which is the higher interest rates, they realize that $50,000 they were trying to save over the next year, they just lost it because the mortgage payment went up. And knowing that if they look at 3 years, in 3 years, a lot of them, and our price point, our first-time home buyers are looking at $450 for a move-in, first-time condo. And those people, after the end of 3 years, are going to have a little over $100,000 in equity. It's crazy when you actually show them, and most people love that.
So let's break this down. So everybody hear that. Within the first couple days, 6 touch points, phone call, email, text. By the way, that perfectly aligns with what Chris Smith said, the owner of the author of the conversion code. If you really want to crush it with online leads, listen to that interview from a few weeks ago. You are proactively getting everyone a rent versus own. You've got a great, clever headline. You're going to pay rent one way or the other. You're giving a total cost analysis. You're showing it in smaller time frames because that's what you're trying to get them to say, now is the time. And then you said something else. You're talking to agents about it. So are you giving this Mortgage Coach rent versus own analysis to all of your agents?
I am. I'm sending out the generic one that I send out to the clients, and then I ask the agent, hey, let me do one specifically for you. And so in my basic intro, I'll say, hi, this is Michele from RPM. The Keller Williams team has asked me to send this out to you so that you guys can take a look at why buying now is more important. And if it's specific to one agent, I'll make it to that one agent. I'm getting really good at videos now since Dave has pushed me through my comfort zone. But I'm getting much better. And I find that the videos, I actually didn't think people would watch the videos, but they do.
Yeah, they do. They thank you.
People get to say, okay, my biggest fear was, oh gosh, I'm not always having my makeup on or my hair done or something. But people just want to know that there's something other than a computer on the other side of the screen, and they really do. Yeah,
no, they do. I've seen it over and over again. And once you've done it, a bunch of times, because I know you love doing the audio updates. But the video does, it adds another layer of value, which increases conversion, increases referrals. So Mortgage Coach members, hopefully the takeaway here is if you are working with online leads, you have to give them a total cost analysis. If you're working with first-time home buyers, you've got to give them a rent versus own to create urgency. And talk to all your agents about it. Make sure every single one of your agents understands your sales process. You've walked them through it. I also did an interview with Bill Hart today. So in this in this playlist, and if you're watching this in YouTube, in this playlist that you're at right now, it's called Real World Scripts or Skype Interviews. Make sure you watch that interview I did with Bill Hart. Incredible, big idea. I'm not going to steal any thunder from that. Also, within the description below, we will have an example of Michele's rent versus own that she referenced, and also a link to my full interview with her last year. So Michele, I can't thank you enough for taking time to bring this wisdom, this value. Any last thought for Mortgage Coach users as we wrap up this Skype interview?
I would say for Mortgage Coach users, don't be afraid of the video like I was. That's number one. Number two is, you may think it's redundant to keep doing these videos, but it is really important because sometimes that one person, that might be what that realtor needed to push them over the edge to get them to buy. And I don't mean push you over the edge, but help them accomplish their goals of home ownership. The power of that, and again, less is more for me. I don't like to put 5 or 6, I don't like to put 4 things on there. I like to put 2 or 3 things on there because I find that first-time home buyers get a little bit muddied and too much information. And my thing that I work on right now is talking slowly on my video because I tend to talk very fast. But I would say do it. You're going to see a big success and a big change. I think right now everybody hang on there because I think our summer season is going to be our big buying season this year because of lack of inventory. I think it's going to all pop here. So enjoy enjoy some slow time and some lull time because I promise you in May, June, July, August, we're going to all be sitting there wanting vacations again.
Yeah, no doubt. And for all you Mortgage Coach members, remember, you can record the video from your desktop and on your mobile device. And I do recommend the mobile device. The camera's better, the audio's better, you can control your background, and it's just great. Even if you're at your desktop, it's the place to do it. But just build that habit. And remember, you can update the video. You could have, it's a story. You could have provided that generic total cost or rent versus own, and then you can update the video. And you can just, use it as a communication tool to deliver more value to that family. But improving your conversion rates on online leads is what this call is all about. So, Michele, thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.